Well, as we mentioned earlier in this video, we are going to learn about bats. Bats are so awesome, they are so cool, and you are about to find out why. The first fact we are going to learn about bats is that bats are mammals that fly. Yes, they are the only mammals that are capable of really, truly flying. They've got these wings, and they can maneuver so well. In fact, bats can maneuver in the air better than many birds can. And there are so many different types of these fascinating mammals around the world. In fact, there are over 1,200 species of bats in the world. Over 1,200 species. That means you could learn about a new type of bat every single day, and it would take you over 3 years to learn all of the different types of bats. For example, these two bats are fruit bats or flying foxes. They're called flying foxes because their faces remind people of foxes. They're almost like foxes that are flying in the air. And this is a very interesting type of bat. In fact, these bats can be as large as 4 pounds. Fruit bats, or another nickname of these bats are flying foxes, can get really huge. In fact, they are the biggest bats in the world. Then on the other side of the spectrum, Kitty's hognose bats are the smallest bats in the world. They only get to be about 2 grams, and you can see the size of the bat compared to this person's fingers. Wow, what a tiny bat! They are so small, they are actually nicknamed bumblebee bats because they are about the size of a large bumblebee. In fact, it is believed that these bats may be the smallest mammals in the world. The smallest mammals in the world. So bats can come in all different sizes, right? Oh my goodness, what are you looking at, flying fox, fruit bat? You're so huge, you might get up to be 4 pounds, you're a big bat. And you do look like a fox. That's really weird and really cool all at the same time, Bats are pretty cool. This is a fruit bat or a flying fox, whichever, term you want to use. Just like bats can vary in size, they can also vary in what they eat. Some bats eat some things, other bats eat other things. You see, many bats eat fruit like these guys. They're like, whoa, we're eating fruit. Why are you taking our picture? They are having a great time eating this fruit. Many bats eat fruit. Other bats eat insects. Some bats eat fruit and insects. They're like, hey, we like to eat bugs and fruit. They're all different types of diets that bats have. And some bats just drink blood. What? It's true, they're called vampire bats, and there are 3 different types of vampire bats. They live in Central and South America, so those are the only places in the world where you find vampire bats, and they usually bite other animals. They don't usually bite humans, so you don't have to be afraid of these, but they are fascinating, and it's true that they live on blood. So there are so many different types of bats in the world, over 1,200 different types of bats. They come in different sizes, they eat different things, but now we're going to look at a bat joke. It seems like time for a bat joke, especially after talking about the vampire bats, okay? Okay, here's the joke. Why do bats love going to school? Why do bats love going to school? Because that's where they learn the alphabet. my goodness. Get an alphabet instead of alphabet. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good joke. Your friends will like it. Share it with them. They'll laugh. So, we have talked about how there are tons of bats, over 1,200 different types of bats, and most bats are harmless. They're not going to hurt you. They're not actually that scary. A lot of people are afraid of bats. In fact, bats are a symbol of the holiday Halloween. Some of the reasons why people are afraid of bats is that they are nocturnal. That means they are up at night and they sleep during the day, which kind of makes them sketchy, a little bit scary. A lot of people think they are dangerous, so they're flying around and they think that these flying mammals are really dangerous, but the vast majority of bats are not dangerous. In fact, even of the vampire bats, the ones that carry sickness are less than 1% of the vampire bats, which the vampire bats are just 3 of over 1,200 kinds of bats. Overall, bats are harmless creatures that do fly. They are awake at night, but they're friendly. They're just doing their own thing. By the way, the reason that bats like to fly away when people show up is because a lot of times bats are more afraid of us than we are of them. They just like to be alone, to be with their families, and to do what they want to do, So sometimes in caves, when people come in, the bats fly out because the bats are like, hey, we don't know about these human beings. So bats are pretty cool. They're fascinating creatures, and they're not actually that scary. Thanks for watching this Homeschool Pop video on bats.